What's going on, African family? Uh, this is your brother, Mukondeleli wa Mraudzi, Radziva Kwamasenga, Vachinavini Chinavlavavuya, Vavi Rikanda Kato. What's happening? So, this is still Steve Biko month, September. We remember that great man who paid the ultimate price to fight for black people's humanity. You may not see it, you may not understand it, but black consciousness had a huge impact on the reality we have at present. I think without black consciousness, things could have possibly been worse for black people in this country. And possibly you don't see how it was important that Biko make his voice heard, even though he did not end up, taking political office or living to see anything that came after that period. But just him, sounding that alarm. Earlier, I attended a webinar where they were talking about Steve Biko, and they mentioned that the 25th of February is the day Steve Biko was buried. Um, and everything was being spoken about, of course, in the global context of everything that's happening in the world. But my attention obviously turns to, African people and our interests and what's happening in terms of that. Uh, you know, One of the things I was thinking about was this government of national unity. Well, from where I'm sitting and what I've looked at, I don't think you should expect anything better from, this GNU period. Um, that you didn't see before in the previous ANC majority dispensation. There's not much that I think will be different. And so that's the bad news. The good news, I think, is that we have brothers like King Setso, shout out, and brothers like that who are bringing forth initiatives. I'm always gravitating to people like that who actually have some kind of plan, and what they are saying aligns with what I'm thinking. And I will go forth to support such a cause. So I am supporting that in the small ways that I can. um you know I don't have a lot even in terms of time, but I am doing my best to contribute the best I can, and I encourage others to do so. um but the thing I really want to talk about is this story of Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber, I believe, talking about we need to import skills to South Africa in order to boost the economy, activate the economy, or something like that. Guys, like seriously, like, okay, my dear voters out there, come on, y'all. Like, for real? That's the plan, really? So, the graduates we have who are unemployed, those are not the skills you're looking for, or they don't have the skills you need, or what? And if they don't have the skills that the South African economy needs, then what have they been doing studying all those years? And no one anywhere ever said, look, what you're studying is not needed. We need to put you here is what is actually needed. Like, why? Why isn't, I mean, King Setso was asking this question. Why isn't the education system aligned to the scarce skills database or whatever? Like, what in the world is this? And maybe you don't understand why I take this so personally, but look, I was in university not too long ago, so I know the struggle of students. I know the backstories. And for the typical black student, the backstory is that I come from a family of nothing, and whatever opportunity I can get here, I need to grab it, and I need to make it work the first time. There is no second chances for black students. Do you understand? No second chances. You only get one shot and you better make it count. Can you believe it? That is the reality of black life. And so when they're talking about they need to import skills, they say it's because South Africa has a very small number of people with degrees, especially bachelors. I'm like, seriously? I know so many. I know a number of people just who come to my mind who are unemployed. Besides the other stories you'll see on, I mean, I know personally people who got degrees and all of that, and they struggling. So you're telling me that then the education system basically ain't working because you need to import skills. So what is this? Like, why don't you, why don't you say that also? Because that would complete the story. Because now if you're just saying no, we need to import more skills, we don't have enough skills, what are you saying? What are you saying? And they're talking about digital nomads. These people will work as digital nomads. So these people will be leveraging whatever this digital nomad thing is. What do the South African youth understand about that concept? Like, seriously, what is the focus here? My South African patriots, hmm? The anti-Chidima choir, where you at, baby? This is the time now, y'all. You say your jobs are being exported. I mean, it's bad enough jobs are exported through the exporting of our raw minerals, right? Now they showing us for real. They straight out exporting the jobs in numbers. They are literally telling you 11,000 jobs will be exported. And then what is unemployment again for youth? I think it's 40 something percent. Ha, bafethu. Let me tell you something. Stick with the Pan Africanists and the genuine Pan Africanists, like King said so, and your brother Mukondeli. Stick with the brothers. Let's build something. Those of you still looking to politics, I don't know, man. I don't know if you studied this election period very well. But I think King said so, my brother breaks it down very well that hey, guys, limitations to this politics thing, man. And so, as a people who really understand, who have been given the eyes to see and understand geopolitics and all of that, I think those of us who get it and who understand what is at stake need to move, build institutions. King said so is building a school. Let's support, let's be involved, let's get it set up. Someone else is building maybe a grocery store or something. Someone else is starting a farm. Let's go, let's get involved. Let's work, let's fight. Because there is nothing that's coming. There is no divine intervention coming from anywhere. We as Africans are just going to have to decide in our own ways how we are going to pull and extract ourselves out of this. And our ultimate success, by my estimation, from what I've observed, will be based on the degree to which we are able to unify our efforts. In all political documents that I have read, intelligence sources of the US, and the thing that they made most nervous about is Pan-Africanism. I mean, the documents in the US where they talk about, in the 60s, when they were talking about movements in America and movements in Africa, the thing that they said the most was that you must monitor how the Africans from the continent and the Africans in America are collaborating or getting together because we don't need that thing. That thing we must. So, the degree to which globally Africans are able to unify their efforts and speak with one voice, the degree to which we're able to achieve that will determine how successful our efforts are, whether it is for your local level or globally. So, Africans who are still playing that small town game are losers by default, unfortunately. Sorry. That's just the game. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. Tariq Nasheed, I'm sorry, my brother. FBA delineation, I get it. But the nature of the game, Claude Anderson said, Racism is a team sport, and either you play as a team or you lose. Claude Anderson is on point, man. Shout out to the elder Claude Anderson. He's on point. And I'm telling you, the degree to which Africans globally can unify their efforts, that is what that's going to be the determining factor for victory. These other things we're doing, delineating ourselves, separating ourselves, it's not victory material, folks. I'm just saying, even though we may have our beefs with each other, realistically, I'm even willing to work with those Africans I have beef with. Hey, Tariq Nasheed, man, I'm an African from the continent, and I know, you don't seem to take us very seriously, but it's cool. It's cool. If the moment comes that I, have to work with you for our common survival, it's all good. I'm more of a pragmatist than anything and a strategist. But I have a long memory. I never forget insults and stuff like that. But hey, for survival purposes, I'm willing to put my head on straight. But hey, brothers and sisters, yo, Africans globally, let's understand these things. The game is the game. And if we don't understand the game and understand how to play the game to win, we are just blowing hot air. One love, African family. Paseta, the Pan African School. Huh? The Pan African School. Economics, technology, and agriculture. Paseta. Find out about that school, support it, rally around it, and any other African courses that are worthy, that are going to have real impact on the lives of our people. In advancing African interests, that's it. The only way you get my ear is how you telling me how what you're talking about is in the interest of African people. That's why you can't even get me to your church, because you can't even show me. But hey, I'll be interested in your church if you show me how it's advancing the interests of African people. Yo, I'll do, yo, you know, your movement, social movement, whatever. Man, if you show me how it advances interests of African people, hey, you can get me interested. That's the only way. And I just want to end with this point that there's this notion that people in the global south generally must collaborate. The global south has many different races as classified by the white supremacists. And as a result, this has created some sort of division. So, for example, Chinese, Indians, tend to have people among them who think that Africans, are subhuman or whatever. The same sort of white supremacist logic, right? Because in the white supremacist structure or framework, they are a bit higher up in the hierarchy. So, here's my thing, right? And again, it goes with the Palestinian cause. I support the Palestinian cause in terms of the global South to South cooperation context. But here's the problem: there are elements of racism and anti blackness among Chinese, among Arabs, among all these other global South groups. That creates a problem. And this is why, I think those who are progressive and clear headed, who come from those other groups, need to think about this. That the more negative energy comes from that side towards African people, towards black Africans, it also creates resentment towards you. Now it's not only Europeans who have bad blood towards, it's all y'all. It's like all of y'all now are against us. And that's the thing. If you truly are loyal to global South to South collaboration and alliances, our cause also needs to be your cause. So, as much as you're saying, look, support the Palestinian cause, it's a global South to South thing, geopolitically sound, but the African cause also has to be your cause. So, when we are saying we are fighting for African sovereignty, African self determination, self reliance, that must also be your cause. You must also say, yes, Let's push to ensure that this happens, that the Africans retain their territorial integrity and their true independence. You must also fight for that cause. Then global South to South relations start to make sense. And then you must make sure that you enforce among your people a culture of respect for African people, and that you make sure that you sanction all these behaviors of anti-Africanness. See, you start to do those kinds of things, you can create an energy and a spirit of cooperation. It took me a long time to see why I should even be concerned about what is happening in Palestine. It was precisely because of this thing that those are Arabs. Even they have something against Africans. And my thing is African interests first. So you want to talk to me, get me in your cause, you gotta take on the causes of African people too. Our genuine causes for self-determination and self-reliance and being an equal partner in the global community. If you see that as making sense and as being worthy, that Africans are worthy to be equals with you and everybody else, then we can talk. But you still have some supremacist elitist thing where you think you're better than Africans, and you allow that kind of thing to fester within your people. But as soon as you get in trouble, now you call on it. No. So that global South to South, we need to have a conversation about that one. But I understand it geopolitically. But no, guys, let's not play with each other. The Africans also have to be valued as equals if we're to talk about anything. And I say this in the context of Steve Biko Month, because that is Black consciousness. I am a human too. I have the same value. Whatever you think is good for you and your people, you think I don't think it's good for me and my people? What? You think Africans don't want prosperity? You think Africans like poverty? No. So please, let's not even play those games. Whatever anyone else thinks they deserve to have comfort, security, and good life and happy children, what? Africans hate that? Come on. So no, anyone wanting to deal with us as Africans, you must demonstrate that you understand that the things you desire for yourself, your interests, we also have our interests. Simple as that. Anyway, brothers and sisters, let's think about this thing. My patriots, come through. What are you saying to the Minister of Home Affairs? Where are the petitions and the protests? They are exporting jobs with 40-something% unemployment in this country. Anyway, African family, until we have our chats again, let me leave you in perfect love and peace. Shalom.